Medellin used to be known as the most dangerous city on earth. In the early 1990s, the murder rate here was so high that international news often described the city as almost unlivable. Drug cartels, assassinations, and political violence dominated headlines. But today, Medellin is known for something completely different: urban innovation. Public transportation systems that climb mountains, libraries built in neighborhoods that once lacked basic infrastructure, and a transformation story that urban planners around the world now study. So how did a city once defined by violence reinvent itself? To understand that, you have to understand the city. Medellin sits in a narrow valley surrounded by steep mountains in Colombia's Antioquia region. The geography is beautiful, but it also shaped how the city grew. As the population expanded during the 20th century, wealthier neighborhoods stayed near the valley floor, while poorer communities built informal housing on the surrounding hillsides. That physical separation created social distance, too. During the 1970s and 1980s, Medellin's economy was changing. Traditional industries like textiles were struggling, unemployment was rising, and organized crime groups began to fill the economic vacuum. The most infamous figure to emerge from that environment was Pablo Escobar. At the height of his power, Escobar's cartel controlled an enormous portion of the global cocaine trade. His operations brought enormous wealth into the region, but they also brought violence. Bombings, assassinations, and kidnappings became common. By 1991, Medellin's homicide rate had reached levels rarely seen in modern cities. But what happened after Escobar's death in 1993 is what makes Medellin's story unusual. Instead of focusing only on policing, the city experimented with something different: urban design as social policy. Local leaders began investing heavily in infrastructure designed to reconnect isolated neighborhoods with the rest of the city. One of the most famous examples is the metro cable system. Unlike traditional subways or buses, these gondola-style cable cars travel up the mountainsides to communities that were previously difficult to reach. Residents who once spent hours commuting down narrow roads could suddenly reach jobs, schools, and services in minutes. Transportation became a tool for opportunity. Medellin also invested in architecture that carried symbolic meaning. In neighborhoods that had once been centers of violence, the city built dramatic public libraries and cultural centers. The idea was simple but powerful: place beautiful civic buildings where people had historically been neglected. The architecture signaled that those communities mattered. At the same time, Medellin's economy began evolving again. Technology startups, design firms, and international companies started paying attention to the city's transformation. Medellin even won the title of Innovative City of the Year in 2013 from the Urban Land Institute. Today, the city hosts technology conferences, entrepreneurship programs, and university partnerships focused on urban innovation. But the story of Medellin isn't just about policy and infrastructure. It's also about culture. The city has long had a strong identity shaped by the Antiochian region, known for entrepreneurship and independence. Music, art, and street culture became powerful tools in reclaiming neighborhoods that had once been controlled by gangs. Graffiti murals now cover many of the city's hillsides, telling stories of resilience and memory. Yet Medellin's past hasn't completely disappeared. Tourists sometimes visit locations associated with Escobar, curious about the city's darker history. That curiosity can be controversial for locals, many of whom prefer to focus on the city's transformation rather than its notoriety. And like many large cities, Medellin still faces challenges: inequality, housing pressure, and debates about how fast development should happen. But the overall arc of the city's story remains remarkable. Few places have experienced such a dramatic shift in global reputation within a single generation. Medellin didn't erase its past. Instead, it redesigned the city around a different future. Transportation connected neighborhoods that had once been isolated. Public spaces replaced abandoned lots. And investment in education and design helped shift the narrative. So today, when people talk about Medellin, they're often talking about possibility. Not because the city avoided crisis, but because it confronted it. And that may be the real lesson hidden in Medellin's story. Sometimes the most innovative cities are the ones that had the most to rebuild.